Welcome to the Through the Lane podcast with me, Lane, today. Carmine's not here. This is the second part that we said we were going to do on Zoom, but he got kind of lazy and didn't want to, and preoccupied doing some other stuff. So I just decided to film it myself. Last night was game 5 of the Mavs Timberwolves series, and there's not much to talk about. I mean, it was pitiful. It was sad. It was, 124 to 103. Luka and Kyrie kind of carried it. Jaden Hardy had 7 points off the bench. He's been solid this postseason. And Cat had 28. Anthony Edwards had 28. But then you got 8 from Jaden, 9 from Rudy, 9 and 5. 5 rebounds from Rudy Gobert is like ridiculous. Ant had more rebounds. 7 from Mike Conley. 5 points from Naz Reid. These got no production. And so now we're going to have a playoff matchup of Mavs and Boston. And I'm not going to go too much in it. We're going to try to do an episode of me and Carmine and kind of dive into it. If not, I'll come out with one of my own. But I just think the bench for them kind of just let them down. And it was underwhelming. It was very underwhelming, and did not do what was needed. But I just don't. They didn't do well. Luka looked really good. This was a sad series. It was a sad series. Timberwolves looked tired, and the inexperience showed. I was happy it wasn't a sweep though. On to the next. And this is going to be. We're now switching over to the NFL. NFL OTA holdouts. There's a few, like T. Higgins, I know is holding out. Let me see. Justin Jefferson. Okay, so here we go. Cameron Hayward for the Pittsburgh Pirates or Steelers holding out. Wrong sport. Justin Jefferson is holding out. I think he'll get his deal soon. T. Higgins. That situation's really iffy. Because the Bengals, they don't have too much money. Jamar Chase's deal, but I believe you need T. Higgins. I don't know if they drafted a good number 2, but right now, he'll most definitely play. So once preseason comes along and stuff like that, mandatory, he'll be there. But right now, it's not a good sign. There's talks about trades. And there's a team that talked about it, the Chargers. I think it would be a good idea to go after him and maybe give up Quentin Johnson because, I think the Bengals can mess around with Quentin Johnson a little bit more because he doesn't be number 1. Tua's holding out. That's dumbfounding because it's his own lack of success and injury issues where he can't do well in warm weather that is causing him to struggle. And so I find it kind of just insane that he is holding out, which is kind of wild. But, I don't know if they extend him. CeeDee Lamb is holding out for the Dallas Cowboys. There's a discussion between who gets an extension first or at all, Dak or CD. I go CD. You can get yourself a good quarterback. Kirk Cousins may become available from the Falcons. So you can get yourself a quarterback, right? But you can't get a receiver like CD. And I'm not saying CD is like a top receiver, but he's a number 1. And he's a really good receiver. And I think he's young, too. So I think he deserves an extension. He's done more. I don't know if he's deserving to be paid as the highest paid receiver in the league. But I do think he deserves to get paid. Next, Cortland Sutton. That's befuddling. The Broncos are in a weird spot right now. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. On to the next. Darius Slayton. There's a lot of guys. The holdouts just became for mid-tier players all of a sudden. That is my thing. A lot of mid-tier players are holding out. It's stupid. You don't. If you're Darius Slayton, you don't have the cachet to hold out. Come on, dude. We signed a receiver. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. And so you don't have the cachet like Cortland Sutton. It's been a few years since you've been a good, really good receiver. Don't have the cachet, so it's kind of annoying to see these guys. Another one. This one's big. Brandon Ayuk holding out. I mean, we kind of knew this for a while that he was going to. He deserves an extension. Right now, the 49ers are in an interesting place because they don't have a lot of money. A lot of money's tied up on deservingly so players, and this is where, Brock Purdy being a 7th-round pick is going to become an issue. Yes, he's cheap. Like, he's going into, like, his 3rd, 4th year soon. It's only a 4-year deal. There's no 5th-year option, and he's going to get paid. And it's only going to get bigger if he wins an MVP, which, I mean, I would not be shocked if he ended up doing. So, I think that's big. He's either going to get traded or he's going to sign that extension. I don't know where he'd get traded to. Again, Chargers, Steelers are a team that I look at that would be an interesting team to trade for him. On to the 9th one, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, don't get me wrong, I think Micah Parsons, okay, and this is going to be a clip. Micah Parsons is overrated because he plays good in smaller games. He puts up insane stats, but in big games, he either gets banged up or he just disappears. I mean, I was watching a game. I think it was the Packers game, and he was nowhere to be seen. I think they lost another NFC opponent later in the year, and again, like they were attacking his side, and he was just disappearing. He didn't have aggressiveness. He didn't have that dog, and it's like, and everyone's like, well, the defense doesn't perform. It falls on Micah Parsons to be that tone setter because he's one of the better defensive players in the league. I think he's been overrated. I don't like how he just whines on social media 24/7. But I don't think they extend Dak Prescott. I think if you're the Cowboys, you have to extend CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. On to the next, Tristan Wirfs of the Buccaneers. And he's a really good left tackle. I think he's been a Pro Bowler. I don't know about All Pro. But I do think they extend him. He's not mid-tier. He's between like mid and high tier, like right there. And then this is something I've never seen him before. Eddie Pinheiro, a kicker, is holding out. The kicker, I would relate it to what in baseball is relief pitching, where there's a lot of it's very volatile. You can pick some dude up, can catch a heater for the year, and then you let go of him and him suck. And so I think really as a catcher, you being that kind of guy, unless you're like one of the greats, Justin Tucker. Sorry. Justin Tucker, then you don't hold out at all. But those are 11 big names. There's a lot of unsigned NFL free agents. Let me look them up real quick. I know Justin Simmons is one of them. Like insanely. Stephon Gilmore, Steven Nelson, Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, Patrick Peterson, J.C. Jackson, Akilo Witherspoon, and Keon Crossan. Outside of the last guy, and maybe J.C. Jackson, because he had one heck of a year last year, just off the field stuff. Patrick Peterson's shown that he can be at least a good slot guy, or he can be a good backup corner. Adoree Jackson's not too far removed from being a Pro Bowl corner. Xavier Howard used to be, before injuries, one of the best corner in the league. Steven Nelson is, I think, another solid corner that could be like your Patrick Peterson. And then Stephon Gilmore kind of disappeared in the Cowboys secondary. They didn't have the greatest of years, but I mean, I still think he can be two. You're up. How you have a stud corner and then you have the veteran on the other side. Dalton Renzer was one of the top offensive linemen. He just got re-signed to the Vikings. DJ Humphries, there's talks of him returning to the Cardinals. David Bakhtiari's all but retired. Donovan Smith has not signed somewhere, and I think he will. Andreas Pete, I think will be someone that signs around training camp once injuries start to settle in, and Connor Williams as well. And then Hallup, I'm just gonna call him Hala. He was an interior lineman for the Lions, which is surprising that they let him go because they got some bad play towards the end of the year from the inside of the offensive line. And some other big names that I've not signed. Ryan Tannehill, and then let's look. Hunter Renfrow, I don't think he's signed anywhere. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think maybe about out of the league. He'll sign a practice deal somewhere. Tyler Boyd signed with the Titans. I like that move. Let's see. Here's one for May 28th. Yeah, running back market. Cam Akers is still out there. Kareem Hunt. Deion Jackson, who was solid at times for, I think, the Colts. Dalvin Cook, who I think just is towards the end of his career. Jared McKinnon. Melvin Gordon can't hold on to the football to save his life. Receivers remaining. Corey Davis, man, that man's falling off. Julio needs to retire. Randall Cobb needs to retire. Martavis Bryant, I don't know why he's still trying to play. Michael Thomas needs to retire. Hunter Renfrow, it shocks me that he's still a free agent. He got lost in the sauce, and so I feel kind of bad. But one second. And I'll go back on it's something about the Micah Parsons thing, and I'll go back on that later. Because I feel like I should hit that one. Best tight ends. This is a weak tight end class. Jimmy Graham is still playing, which is wild. Jeffrey Swam bounces between receiver and tight end. Logan Thomas had a few good years a few years ago, but I don't think you see any of them get picked up. They'd be on lower end deals. Offensive tackles. Donovan Smith, DJ Humphries, Jason Peters. He probably should retire. And then Connor McDermott and Billy Turner are some guys that Riley Reef, I think he was a top tackle at some point, are the like guys I really think that have a shot and that are there that with some value. Offensive guards, Don Renzer just got re-signed, but Justin Pugh, Matt Feuder, DJ Fluker looks incredible. Greg Van Rotten. Again, there's a lot of guys there that are just going to fill the back end of your roster, the depth pieces. Centers, though, there are three. Connor Williams, Connor McGovern, and Scott Quisenberry, all three starting centers, pretty darn good starting centers, that I would not be shocked you see them get picked up. I would not be shocked to see a team like the Falcons, the Dolphins, and some other teams pick them up. I haven't really looked at anything yet. Like I said, my allergies have been kicking me in the face. So I've been kind of just struggling a little bit. Remaining edges, Emmanuel Agba, he was a top pick. He had like a good rookie year, but hasn't done good since. Overpaid. Yannick Ngakoue, I butchered his last name, so sorry. Who's going to be like a third down offensive lineman. Carl Lawson, I think, is toward the end of his career. Marcus Golden, Shaq Lawson, both pretty much the end of their career. Going down to defensive line. Calais Campbell, I think, has a place. Hassan Ridgeway, Lawrence Guy, Linval Joseph, Matt Dickerson. All guys that I think will probably end up getting signed. Those are the big names. Linebackers. Shaq Leonard, he's got a lot of injuries, so I don't know if we get signed. Zach Cunningham, he puts up a lot of stats, but Pro Football Focus hates this man, like with a burning passion. But he'll give you like 90 to 130 tackles, and he'll be like rated terribly. It makes no sense. I think he gets picked up somewhere. Quan Alexander, that fall, because he used to be a top linebacker, ever since he went to the Saints, has been a massive fall off. Injuries have plagued him. So moving on, corners, we've already touched on him. Eli Apple's still there, though. Jerry Jacobs, Fabian Monroe. Those are some more corners that I believe will get picked up before. And in the safety class, this is big. Justin Simmons, Eddie Jackson, Marcus May, Micah Hyde, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Tracy Walker, J-Ron Curse, Adrian Phillips, Tayshaun Gibson, Kareem Jackson, Keanu Neal, Adrian Amos. These are starting safeties. Jamal Adams' fall, and this is another clip. Jamal Adams' fall needs to be studied. Because he went from one of the top safeties. Okay, so restarting there. Jamal Adams, his fall from glory when he was with the Jets in that about first year or two has been insane. I think the Seahawks were talking about bringing him back, but as a linebacker. Now, this man has issues already. I think it'd be taking his range away, which I think has been killing his hamstrings. I think it's like thigh, soft tissue areas that are bothering him. But it's insane. He looked like one of the better corner or safeties in the league, and he's nowhere to be found. Justin Simmons is flabbergasting that he's still there. Marcus May got paid, I think, by the Saints and was never the same. Kind of like Jamal Adams. Micah Hyde said that if he does not go back to the Bills, he's retiring. Quandre Diggs. Part of that interesting, scrappy Seattle secondary. I think he's hurt a lot, though. J-Ron Curse is a very hard-hitting safety. He's the big guy that played for the Cowboys. Terrible in coverage. Not a good coverage safety, but he'll get you a lot of tackles. I think he'd be better fit for linebacker or nickel dime. But that's my opinion. Keanu Neal used to be a big starter for the Falcons. Adrian Amos used to be a big starter for the Packers. I mean, you just go down this list, and I mean, it's a lot of big names that a few years ago were top of the line safeties, at least league average or above. So Micah Hyde, man, prayers to him, because that man caught some terrible luck health wise, and it just pains to see it. Moving on. That's everything. That's all of them. Not really any big quarterbacks still remaining. Here it is. Yeah, no. I mean, Kellen Mond, Blaine Gabbert, P.J. Walker, and Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill will sign somewhere. Maybe in P.J. Walker. I don't see anybody else, though. But, yeah, that's about it on that side of everything. I had an NFL teams preview, but that would probably be more for me and Carmine to do. This, again, will probably be about 30 minutes long. But moving on to Nico Collins, just signed a 3-year extension. I like this. This receiving core is insanely deep, like stupidly deep. Let me pull it up real quick. It's like, it's stupid, okay? So, let me bring up Stephon Diggs, 1,000-yard receiver. Nico Collins, 1,000-yard receiver. Tank Dell had 700 yards receiving, and he had 5 games to go before he got hurt. Robert Woods, former 1,000-yard receiver. John Mechie still making his way back. Noah Brown's a solid receiver. Ben Skoronek's a solid receiver. And then you had Dalton Schultz. Doing this in this little bit of a preview. Watch out for the Texans. I think they're the best team in that division by far. Best offense. And I believe that defense, low-key, I'm pretty sure they got a pass rusher, Danielle Hunter, to put across Will Anderson, which is what I wanted the Lions to do, because one pass rusher and some scrubs or some just all-right guys is not going to get it done postseason-wise. They went out and they paid Danielle Hunter some good money, and he deserved it. They also had Derek Barnett on that squad. Christian Harris is pretty good. Azeez Al-Sharawi was a really good linebacker for the 49ers. He's there. Derek Stingley looks like he'll be good. They got Jeff Okudah, Jim Petrie. I mean, this team, you look up and down it, is loaded. Oh, by the way, C.J. Henderson, y'all remember him? Former first-round pick? Yeah, he's a backup. I mean, that's two top 15 picks that are just like, we'll figure it out. Kamari Lassiter, pretty sure was one of their top picks as their corner. So you slide him in there. Jimmy Ward as your strong safety. I mean, this is a stacked club. The defense was a whole last year. but it's got better. Then they brought in, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. I mean, holy cow! Because Dameon Pierce had a just rough second half of the year last year, rough year. He had a really good rookie year. I mean, he's bulldozing guys, and I think he showed that him being a feature back, he can't do it as well. Offensive line wise, I mean, right guard looks a little shaky. Titus Howard's a very serviceable right tackle. Laramie Tunsil is one of the better left tackles. Kenyon Green was a top pick, and G. Scruggs they were big on him. Cade Stover is on this team. Tim Boyle. Let's go on a real rant, and I'm gonna put this. Guys like Tim Boyle should not have a roster spot. The man had more interceptions in college than he had touchdowns, and then it got worse in the NFL, and you keep signing him. By that point, let me go out there. I'm pretty sure I could do better. Like, it's ridiculous. There's some guys, like it was the Nathan Peterman or something like that, the guy that was for the Bills, it was just atrocious. He's like throwing somehow 6 interceptions a game, and you're looking at this and it's like, how do you do that? That is just like, holy cow. Like that, Tim Boyle had no business starting a game for the Jets last year, and being on a roster now. Yes, he probably won't make it out of training camp, but why is he getting an invite? He should not be given an opportunity to make it. And as well, why is Case Keenum still on the roster? He had that 1 year and he's fallen off. Why? P.J. Walker is a better quarterback. Blaine Gabbert is a better quarterback. Like, why? Makes no sense. And that's the end of the rant. I think it's stupid. I think it's really, really dumb. But moving on, UFC 302 Saturday. This is big. Dustin Poirier. This may be his last fight. He says, if I lose, chance he retires. He's tired of making that climb up. He's made it like 7 times. He runs into Khabib. He runs into, he got beat by McGregor in featherweight. He got beat by Khabib. He got beat by Charles. He's now made it back up. It's probably be about his 4th push ever. I mean, this is like strong push. Him being a number 1 contender, not be like the 4 and then just, 1, 2, and 3 all fought. Let's get the 4. So I think it's, make your day. I think he gets it. You look at Dustin Poirier, the man has a wide back, big shoulders, carries a lot of power. I think it will be, I think he wins. I don't think Islam Makhachev has faced anybody with that kind of insane firepower. I mean, and he'll piece you up, dude. He's surgical. I mean, it's elite. It's, just scary stuff. And then the co-main event, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa used to be big, but then he kind of got beat up and had a little bit of a boring fighting style. And when you get to the UFC, if you're a boring fighting style, you won't make a title shot. There are some guys that are dogs, but they fight boring. And what I mean by that is you're not aggressive. You're kind of just waiting. Khabib in a way had a boring fighting style, but he was ragdolling people. He picking them up, tossing them around. Sean Strickland, I like his fighting style. And I recently, about a month or 2 ago, watched his Israel Adesanya fight over, and he picked him apart. So I know who is the middleweight champion right now. Is it Israel again? No, it's Duplessis. It's Duplessis. It's what's his face. He beat Sean Strickland. District Duplessis. Man, that was, you want to talk about an upset? That was an upset because I think we all pegged Sean Strickland to win it. But I think this was whoever wins this. I don't know if Duplessis is fighting again. He's fighting. Yeah, he's NA for his next fight. So I don't know. Israel Adesanya hasn't fought at all this year. He's closing up on a year since he's fought. So I don't know what's going on. Israel lost to Sean Strickland, and there's time. Man, look, this is outlook. He could rest on his laurels and decide to retire and do so on a surefire Hall of Fame rank. And man, he's 34. I remember watching him come up a few years ago. It would be a shame to see Israel retire. Now, he's become one quirky SOB. Don't get me wrong. But he's exciting to watch. Man, if you never really watched him fight, I'd say look at that Israel Adesanya, or not the Israel Adesanya, Kevin Gastelum fight where Israel fought him. And he says, I'm prepared to die. Like, the dude's a dog. But he Robert Whittaker's number 3. He entered after Robert Whittaker, and it's going to leave before him. I don't like that. That's the McGregor thing. That's like the McGregor thing, where you get kind of too big for your britches. Especially going out losing. Go out as the champ, my guy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the Sean Strickland fight would be... okay, this is a little bit older. So, let me look up Israel Adesanya. Because maybe he does have a fight set up. I hope he does. I hope he does. It doesn't look like it. Let's look news. It looks like maybe Israel Adesanya gets the first crack at the Plus. And then whoever wins the Sean Strickland fight would end up facing that. I just don't know. I've not seen anything here over... Okay, so they're fighting at 305. Over 1 second, I'm reading. Sorry about the pause. You can skip. Yeah, I mean, there's talks of, Israel Adesanya. I think honestly, Israel needs to fight Kamazat. I just just got reminded that he's still in there, and he's a bit of a boogeyman. Someone's got to put Kamazat down, and if I want anybody to do it, I think it would have to be Israel Adesanya. And sorry about the pauses here, because I'm reading this and trying to spew it back. He beat Robert Whittaker, and that's big. I think, or he did, or he's going to. But again, so Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. We'll review that in a minute because I have some time. Kevin Holland versus Michael. I think Kevin Holland's going to do it. Kevin Holland's a bit of a dog in the middleweight. I think he's a sleeper. Alex Moreno, Nico Price, Santos versus Randy Brown, and then we have a few. The undercard. Let me look here. Nothing really exciting. Yeah. 302 is really just the main 3 fights, and then that's about it. Lightweight, middleweight, which are 2 of the very more exciting divisions coming up. And then, 303, I think, is McGregor and Chandler. So that's going to be big. We got some big fights coming up. And then on to the next, Indy 500. Justin Newgarden won back-to-back. It's a great race. A lot of cautions to start the race off, but then everyone kind of got their crap together. And Pato Award again, almost winning, and then Justin Newgarden passing him last, right in turn 3. Great pass, the type of passes that don't get made there for the win. Just an insane race. I didn't watch most of it. I was on my way back from vacation, but I was listening to it. I've watched some clips of it. Crazy race. A lot of no names have made their names known. Kyle Larson did solid outside the pit road penalty. Campanino, Drew Rasmussen. All 3 kind of showed their mettle and did pretty good. Next, this is a sad one. Ronald Acuna tore his left ACL, and he's out for the rest of the year. Should be ready by opening day next year. But man, isn't that demoralizing? Last year was his first full healthy year because in 2022 he missed the first month recovering from his former ACL tear in his right knee, and he struggled that year. Last year he put the world on notice, going 41-73, 41 home runs, 73 steals. This year he started slow. The Braves been disappointing. That's coming from a Braves fan. It's just all around disappointing. I think the Strider injury sucked the life out of the team. And then it's just guys dropping. Sean Murphy just came back after getting hurt in the first game. AJ Minter went down. Pierce Johnson had gone down and he's come back. Let me think here. AJ Smith-Sawyer's just gone down. Acuna's now down. The team's running thin. Austin Riley missed some time. So did Ozzie. Marcell Ozuna's keeping that team afloat. And so it's really big right now. I don't know what they're going to do. Adam Duvall is not an everyday right fielder. I just don't think he has it in him. I hope he proves me wrong. But I think they need to go out and make a trade for somebody. Cardinals, will be a team that I'd call up. Somebody with a strong right fielder that isn't going to compete. I mean, maybe the Rays for Randy Rosarena, but I'd be scared to make a deal with the Rays. They're really, the market, maybe Tommy Pham, or bring back Kevin Pillar, because Kevin Pillar's on a tear right now. I think they'd have to make something, move on the margins. I need him to be a league average or more. But yeah, and then we're going to go back for a little bit to this UFC thing. Cosmozot is a big scary issue. Because he's just a scary fighter, and no one seems to want to fight him. And it's kind of ridiculous when you look at it that no one wants to fight him. So let's look at middleweight. Yeah. Where's Kyle? He's 10th. He's better than Hermasin Nas. He's better than Vittori. I believe Robert Whitaker, let's pull him up. Let's see. So he fought Costa, and he won. He lost to DePlus. Yeah, so he needs to fight. He's fighting Cosmozot, June 22nd. So there we go. Cosmozot's getting his fight to enter the top division. Israel, let's look. It's Israel. Israel has a fight. He's 23-3. But again, he kind of got big for his britches, moved up to light heavyweight, and he just kind of got ragdolled. And then by the time he came back down, Alex Pereira, who's his boogeyman. That's a cool story in its own. We'll go in it over the summer. I plan on over the summer, especially when these bigger events come out, going in deeper detail in the UFC. He made a boogeyman. He pissed Alex Pereira off at a bar because he was right. Alex Pereira was a drunk. And Alex Pereira said, I need to get my crap together. I need to hunt this man down and take everything he has. And he did it. And now he's moved up to light heavyweight, and he's now the champion there. Boogeyman type stuff. But yeah, I just, let's look at lightweight. Armand is the number one contender. That's crazy. I think he just lost, right? Or no? He beat Charles Oliveira, and that bumped him up to 1? Okay. That's wild. He's only beat... That's crazy. He beat Charles Oliveira and Daniil Darnouche. Where's Darnouche? Okay, 7. Max Holloway's 9th in that division. Dan Hooker's kind of fallen off. Bonatsa and Denise. Rafael Dos Anjos is always like that gatekeeper to the top 15, and it's kind of wild. But yeah, I think Michael Chandler's come to the end. Gamrot looks interesting. He's 24-2. He just beat Dos Anjos. Again, gatekeeper. But Dustin Poirier, I think we're about to see a big change. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje both leave the division because they're just getting up there. And Michael Chandler. They've given us some great fights, but I think, it's about to come to the end. Light heavyweight, I don't know who they're going to fight. Khalil Roundtree's got a big fight coming up soon. And I think he's the guy that they're hoping that can make it interesting. I will say this, and I wanted to talk about this. Ila Tapura is the biggest chicken in the world. he keeps calling guys out. Max Holloway knocked the living fire out of Justin Gaethje, something that people really don't do often. And he's like, yeah, it didn't look good. And he won't fight Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch. He won't fight Max Holloway. He won't fight Yair. He's just sitting on the title at this point. He's just literally camping on the title. And I find that really pitiful that he's camping on the title. Like, really pitiful. And he's finding every reason not to fight everybody. He's the worst champion I think we'll ever have in the UFC. Because he's not willing to fight. He'll lose it as soon as he gets, as soon as he fights somebody. And so I think, because you have Calvin Kattar, Aljamain Sterling, Aaron Arnold, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway. Brian Ortega is like the featherweight's version of Dustin Poirier. I think he's the biggest chicken in the world. That's off my rant because we're starting to run along with the episode. We got one quick hit, and it's the round 2 thoughts. So long ago, man, the Timberwolves did really good in round 2, and I know they're bounced now, but I really like what I saw of the Timberwolves. I think if they brought that same intensity for round 3, they would have probably beat the Mavs, but they just did not. They looked gassed. I mean, they looked gassed, and that's a hard-fought 7-game series. But that's pretty much that because it's so long ago, and round 3 just ended. But yeah, we'll probably have an episode up starting Monday, Tuesday, maybe another one. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for this. Thank you for watching. What? Yeah. I just recorded an episode.